Welcome to another Quantum Conversation, brought to you by AcousticHealth.com. I'm Loren Gailey, and I invite you to sit back as we enter the quantum realm, that space of the greater part of you. It is your connection to infinite possibilities, infinite potential, and infinite mastery. And welcome to this first episode of Season 15 of Quantum Conversations. I'm Loren Gailey, and it is so wonderful to be in this space. The shift is on, my friends, like never before, and it will continue, says my guest today. We are literally feeling this with our physical bodies, and most definitely feeling it in our energy fields. I have spoken with experiencers who report seeing colors and geometry, and this is part of everything that is going on. In some cases, with the new year, we are also feeling this great need to really fully embrace our dreams for New Earth and manifest them in huge new ways. Lisa Transcendence Brown is here. She is an Ascension way shower, as many of you are familiar with her incredible insights on the Ascension process. And Lisa says, we are definitely going through a dimensional shift, and we're going to talk about that today. Lisa, welcome, welcome, welcome back to Quantum Conversations.
Aloha, Loren, and everybody. Thank you. I'm so excited to do this with you guys, and I'll apologize up front because I have been going through it with you guys too. Gatekeepers and grid keepers, we have, if you will, like additional duties that involve every bit of our physical body and integrating all these codes into our physical first and intensely sometimes. And so I knew this year it was going to be physical body stuff. When we got into January, you never know the magnitude or how it's going to play out until you're actually in it. And I've been going through a complete template rewrite again, because these technically are all along, but we have bigger ones that occur along the way. And this one is a biggie for me personally for where I am, and collectively for all of humanity for what our roles are. So my voice, I'm going to do my best. My universe, and I told Loren when we first started to come in, is our light body will kick in anytime we have to get through something, and it will kick in and take over, and we will get through it, and then it will collapse. So I'm actually doing really well, knew I would be, but if I sound a little funny or if I happen to, I'm going to do my best not to sneeze and cough and make all kind of noise for you guys. But,
that is certainly okay if that does happen. You still are human. Yes, okay.
Yeah, we are.
Very fascinating. Yes, you know, this template rewrite, we will get into that and talk about it. I know we're feeling it in so many different ways. I just want to say it's interesting. Today we are on a new website, and it's very interesting that even though this is supposedly upgraded to all the greatest things for mobile ready and everything, that there's still glitches. So I thank our listeners.
Got a message from it that kicked me out, just so you'll know, on your site.
Exactly, right. So we have people joining us online, on the phone line, and thank you all for being flexible as we work out the very first kinks of this on this 1/11 day. A very powerful day. Let's start off with that. It is actually a portal, and so we will intend in this show to create a portal of love in this episode and use this for higher consciousness and connection with our I am presence. These 11s are very powerful, and that too is why you, Lisa, as a walk-in chose the 1/11 date for your incarnation. I just want to say happy birthday, Lisa.
It's funny because I've never celebrated birthdays, and so when you and I started coming together and doing this on the birthday, and we chose this day because of the 1/11, which was really cool. But thank you. Yes, I chose a body that had a 1/11 awakening code and many different codes. And I didn't realize that until I started my journey, back 2010, 2011, 2009, 2008. One day I woke up and I saw my birthday and I went, oh my God, how cool is that? Because we chose our bodies, we chose everything on a soul level. We just don't understand at the time. So yes, it's a powerful portal, but more than that, it's a closing of a gateway and opening of a new one. So we're closing out the 1111 gateway that opened. We're closing out and concluding like everything up to this point. And basically everything starts anew. And now technically that's true every day, every moment of every day, but there are bigger gateways and portals that are dedicated to this type of stuff. And this is one of those that's like a complete reset and jumps everything up to a higher timeline than we were on before. All the clearings we've gone through, all of the shifting, all the holding the higher states of consciousness, everything that everybody's intentionally doing. Now it's kind of like get ready to reap the reward. Now it's going to get a lot easier. If there's been anything going on for anybody, we're still anchoring light codes through the whole month. It's just that vibrationally, it's going to get easier to function. But now we move out of, anytime we open a new portal and close out an old one, new codes come through, give us new purposes and missions on a soul level or a galactic level, and the roles that we play here on a human level. So like on 1-1, when I brought through a way and opened up, it doesn't matter, whatever words we want to use. And we do this stuff without any awareness of it prior to, usually. For me, I don't understand anything until I'm going through it, usually. And then I take that, and that's what I use to teach. On 1-1, I woke up to observing 2222 in my sleep. Well, and I'm like, okay, well, that's new. And basically the words were stay in bed. Don't get out. You're going to be integrating. Well, I didn't know that meant for 2 weeks. I thought it meant that day. No, because this is a biggie. And then what's funny is later that day I saw something floating around online about the 22222 code, and I had already gone and looked it up to see, and then I brought through more information today. So it's just really cool because of what these things mean. And so it had to do. Am I cutting out because my phone's trying to?
No, it sounds good.
Okay. Somebody was trying to call, so I had to cut it off. The processes that we go through are the integration of light codes that are activating 24 hours a day. And when you do this intentionally, it's faster and it's easier, except when you're in the thick of it. When you're in the thick of it, you basically have to honor the process of whatever your body tells you that it needs. And so those of us who do this, we all do it differently. That's the beauty of this. There is not one way to do this. It's whatever is appropriate for each one of us for where we are in our own personal and collective processes and phases here. So for me, years ago, it was basically realign your whole life so that this comes first. And then your whole life will be easier. So I did. It took a while. But now, and through all of these years, this comes first. And so the rest of my life is really easy because this is the way it works. But when you're going through a lot of these, you can't do anything for anybody else. You basically have to take care of yourself because your energy, you're being taken off grid, and you'll come back online with new grid work, new encodements, new realities, new everything when the entire process is complete. There's a lot of sleeping that goes on during this, which also assists with veil removal. Most people don't understand the magnitude of what the role the body plays out in this. It's because basically everything is in your body. Your whole external physical reality that you experience is held in your body. And so we have to elevate our body's consciousness. We have to we have to basically bring our whole body into consciousness too, because it's waking up and it's releasing all of the suppressed everything, which is what causes, no, I don't like the word causes, it's that one, creates physical pain, emotional pain. All of this stuff that people are going through is the release of everything that's been suppressed, the release of the programming, the release of unconsciousness, and everything that was held deep within. And it was buried. It's deep in the bones, it's in the flesh, it's in every organ, it's in your brain, it's in your eyeballs, it's in your skin, it's everywhere. Every cell of your body has to be rewritten. Well, the higher we go, if you will, the more light we hold. And I don't get into judgment or competition or any of that stuff like humans do. Lauren, did I lose you when I did that, or are we still here, sweetie?
We're still here, girlie.
Okay, just making sure. When you go quiet on me, sometimes I have to check.
It's very interesting because, and we're going to talk about this. Our light body is activating, and when so many of us, I mean, we saw this. There's like bronchitis going around.
That's what I've technically, if you want to put a label on it, that's what I've been going through.
If we want to put a label through it, and I went through a little bit of that right around Christmas Eve, you know.
But
and
we want to get rid of the labels.
Yes.
Okay, and the reason I'm sorry.
Yeah,
go
ahead. Talk about that because
no,
it's
I know
important
you said you went through it too.
Yeah, so and lots of us go through this, and so getting rid of the labels and really understanding it, because the labels are what could bring in fear as well.
And they're a prison. That they are basically putting a label on something and mislabeling it, and then trying to fix it. And adhere to a program of a limited belief. And so when I when people said, "How are you doing?" I'm like, I have not bronchitis.
So how do you, when you move through this then, you just know, for one, you woke up and you saw 2222, the codes, and you knew to stay in bed. You were very attuned to that inner voice, expanded consciousness, your higher self, and you listened. And so you listened. And so then moving through it.
Which means I don't suffer.
Right.
If we don't listen, that's what creates suffering.
So share with us then how you moved through it. It's a very mental state, and you say it's releasing more and more of the old. So would you witness old programming? You witnessed that coming up?
No, actually, I went through all of so all of us have matrix programming in our physical body. The muscles are actually the grid work, so the earth you walk on.
Okay.
So going through the years of relaxing my own muscles, my own body, and so that my body could release the old grid and be, if you will, replaced. But it's not replaced, it's evolving. But your whole body has to break down on a cellular structure and rebuild itself with all new grid work, which is the crystalline grid.
Okay.
Christ of consciousness. But our human aspect, humans, when I speak of human, I mean ego. I just don't like having to use the word ego back to back. It creates a resistance in people.
Okay.
And so I use the word human. But if I say human, I mean ego. And if you need to, sometimes I will use the word ego because I need to get a point across. But basically, our ego likes to discount everything or label it and put it in a box. And it likes to hold on to the old ways. It doesn't like change. And it doesn't like anything that there's no proof, which is what creates suffering too. Because if you're going to sit around asking for proof, you're going to get it. And it's not going to be awesome. So when I start going through these things, the biggest thing was changing my mentality of everything and understanding that, one, no longer am I sick. I got rid of the word sick, and that everything was a light frequency upgrade. It was light encodement. It was what my body was going through to clear unconsciousness.
And you held your vision on that.
Well, more than holding a vision, I reprogrammed myself every day. I would tell myself, I'm not sick, my body's upgrading. And I went from a bad feeling. I got to use bad right now, and I don't use that word, okay? I went from
Well, because you
feeling
physically
bad
felt
about what I was
bad.
going through.
I mean, a headache, right? I mean, you have a physical headache, coughing. It's not
You
fun.
feel like hell. Oh, my God. I mean, you're
Can't
going through
breathe.
hell. Yeah,
Right.
but let's equate it. That hell is the hell you were living in.
Ah.
Okay? So your body's got to clear that hell. Well, if you're going to keep trying to treat it the old ways and not honor your body and let your body do naturally, and this is key, I do everything naturally. Whereas years ago I didn't. I kept trying to treat it like humans do. And all you're doing is turn around and creating another scenario where you got to go back and now clear everything you were trying to clear before and everything you did since then. And so once I started understanding, support my body. As soon as this started, I got everything natural that would assist my body. And it's so funny because I have a regimen of things that I take. We've been getting hit really hard this last year in the immune system, which is our defense mechanism. All those have to go. And so any defense mechanisms we still hold, the immune system is going to basically has to be completely broken down. It's also part of the infrastructure of all of our realities. It has a part to play in that. Every body part plays a role. Every organ plays a role. Every gland plays a role, is a part of a system. Well, if you're a part of the old matrix system, then your physical carbon-based body holds all that programming, and it's got to constantly be lightened through light encodements, and so that you basically can clear that density and that separation consciousness that we hold inside of us so our body can vibrate at a higher frequency and vibrate out of those old dimensions into higher ones. Okay.
Well, this is really interesting because when we look around at the world, you know, we could have heard this. I like to say we could hear this because I noticed last summer the flu, we could call it frequency light upgrade. That's what we're going to call it. But the old labels of the flu. Well, that's what I labeled it years ago. Or bronchitis. Right, you did. Bronchitis or even colds. I mean, we heard that coming around in the summer. I noticed. But Lorraine, let me ask you a question. Yes, take the label off. So they were upgrading. Yes, so they were upgrading, right? They were upgrading. So they were clearing. They were clearing to upgrade their programming. Heavy-duty programming, the old matrix. You know, most of them don't even know what's going on. Nobody has a clue. I mean, I say that. A lot of people do, but we speak collectively here, okay? Now, on a cellular level, your cells in your body have to move, zoom, zoom, zoom. They have to be free to basically roam around in your body energetically. Well, the typical human body doesn't allow for this. Linear constructs hold the old physical reality and body in place. All those linear constructs have to be broken down. They're on a cellular level. And they do it through these illnesses. And they do this through what, sweetie? Not the illnesses, sorry. See, that's a label, but they do it through these, it's like the symptoms. Ascension symptoms. Well, and I don't even use the word symptoms because symptoms mean something's wrong, okay? So basically look at, I know, we get rid of all the words, okay? Yes. We change them to something to open our awareness instead of suppress or take us into a mindset that something is wrong or a cause. A symptom means a cause. Yes. Okay? Frequency light upgrades. Basically, most people don't even know what frequency light upgrades are. If I asked you right now, what are frequency light upgrades, you'd have to actually stop and think about it, right? Right, and so we know it's the acronym for flu, you know? Well, on a human level, yes it is, but technically, frequency light upgrades are your soul. They're photonic light. Photonic light. Embodying. They are light encoded frequencies. They are multidimensional geometric codes and sequences that are working through your body to basically
seek out everything that is unconscious. Does that put it into a context?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. We are vibrational beings. As higher selves, as multidimensionals, we exist vibrationally. A frequency and light activates everything to vibrate. They activate, okay, codes and sequences that are held in your DNA. They activate your multidimensional you. But human aspects, the ego, doesn't understand this or want to accept it, so it keeps trying to interfere with a process that has to naturally occur and label it. Instead of saying, my body needs love right now, I need to support it and give it some natural food. I need to give it some natural stuff. I need to sleep for a week. Human aspects don't want to hear that. The response is, this interferes with my life. This is inconvenient. I don't have time for this. Oh, my God, something's wrong with me. Let me go ask 2,000 people what might be going on.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go get treated. Let me try to fix it. Let me interfere. Look at the words, fear. Inner, I-N-N-E-R, fear.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, wow, my body needs attention. Oh, wow, my body's trying to become more conscious so that it basically can hold my soul, because that's what's going on.
Okay. I love how you held the awareness of this. And again, it's the perception of it.
Perception.
And to even notice that, you know, you can go into fear. When you're not feeling well, your mind can take you there. And so this is great to hear you explain it in this way, to really hold our focus and to understand it, to listen to our bodies. And isn't it interesting, people are experiencing colors and geometry.
Well, and let me say this, the whole time I was going through this, I might have been feeling like hell, but I was in complete gratitude and appreciation and excited for when this was over, knowing this was a big deal. Because once you complete the process, all new awesome stuff comes.
Yes,
so I might be going through hell, but I'm excited for what's coming as soon as I get through it. It's a different mindset.
Okay. All right. Well, there's a question coming in more about this label of bronchitis, and seems to be getting longer. And one gal says she hasn't had it in years. And
I haven't had it since 2009 either. And I had it back to back to back to back. That's because of where we are right now.
Some people had relapses. They had relapses.
Okay, get rid of that word.
Okay.
Don't relapse.
Another upgrade right shortly thereafter.
Your body has never, when you relapse, basically you never completed the first process.
Okay.
So basically they're not honoring what the body needs. I went through 6, quote, relapses back to back to back to back to back to knock me on my butt. You want to know why? It's because I wouldn't listen.
To knock you on your butt.
It has to. Something's got to knock us on our butt because our ego's too strong. It gets in the way. It keeps trying to interfere. It wants to run the show. It wants to control a process that needs our honor and participation on a whole new level than before.
Yes. That precious time looking inward perhaps, or getting quiet. You know, we are also in this winter month where that feeling of wanting to be in hibernation mode. Personally, I've had that where I just want to stop and just be still and to be to be silent. And so that's part of this too. And
that's when you're honoring your soul, by the way.
And sometimes if we have to get a little feeling where we need to slow down, you know, the physical body will say, okay, now I'm going to make you slow down. You're not just going to wish to go in hibernation. We're going to make you have a little label of a flu or a cold.
I went through years of neglecting and discounting and ignoring my body until my body said enough, and it shut me down at every turn until all of my ability to function got taken away. Because I was that strong, and I refused to open up and listen and honor my body. I didn't want change. I didn't want to detox. I didn't want to inconvenience my life. And this is the thing about it is I recently spent some time observing, and I wrote a paper about it that will come out, but I can't release it yet because it's from a school. Humans. Completely. Just observing. And how easy it is. Well, and the paper is called Observing Humans, basically unconscious humans in their natural habitat. Because basically I spent the entire time just observing how easy it is to stay conscious, how many excuses there are. I don't want to drive that far, it's too far out of the way, I don't want to spend my money on that, something else is cheaper. Every excuse where there is a choice of consciousness is because unconsciousness is too easy still. And that's what happens, is that as long as unconsciousness is easy, then there's going to be more suffering down the road.
Okay. All right. So
I'm calling it proactive consciousness now. I'm about to do a thing about that, by the way.
Proactive consciousness. Yes, really steering the consciousness.
You basically have to look at your whole life and decide on a continual, everyday basis what you can bring more into consciousness continually if you want things to be easy.
All right, so give us an example for that. So you
Everything.
sit and in every moment.
What kind of food I can incorporate in. Oops, sorry, there was a noise.
No,
what kind of food can I incorporate in? How can I replace something that's not natural with more natural things? What do I basically get cheap on that I should spend money on? And human is cheap when it comes because they do not want to spend their money on anything that messes with their world, that doesn't see. And the thing about it is with humans, if you will, which is just the ego, okay? There is no value or importance on these things until they're forced, because our human aspect, and I went through this too, your entire life is a building up of unconsciousness until it's time to fully wake up, and then every unconscious thing you've packed into your body, that you've breathed, that you've subjected your body to, has to be completely undone and reversed so your body can clear everything you've done to it your whole existence here. Mine was 40-something years of unconsciousness, which meant I was going to go through hell, and I did. Humans have no clue when they walk around in a matrix program that they're in a matrix program because it doesn't mess with their world enough yet. That's changing when you're looking at the stuff going out there for a lot of people. But I want to say this, Loren, and it's really important. I have a list of things that we can talk about, too, that are important. But how do I say this? Our innate aspect of who we are kind, we are loving, we are caring. We are beautiful. But on a human level, we will compromise completely because the alternative, which means being fully conscious, messes with our physical reality and the things we want on a human level. And so every time we do not choose to do the highest consciousness thing, no matter what our little human wants, then we create a reality that we have to turn around and clear.
Okay. Really be careful of what we're doing then.
Everything.
All right.
Everything.
So, all right. I want to share a quick little story about how we use the higher consciousness to come to a solution. You met this gal, Deb, in Hawaii, and
Yeah.
when we were there with you, while we were doing a video with you, she was getting a text from someone that was resurfacing in her life, and during the whole, the first reaction was to respond in the way of the human and be like, I don't want this. I didn't ask for that. And looking at that from the higher consciousness level, she replied, and they did a couple of text messages, and this is like her soulmate now. The
Beautiful.
whole situation changed. This great love came into her life, and it was from acting and being in and looking at everything from a higher consciousness. And that's what you're talking about here too. So before we go on, let's wrap up about this, I'm going to use that label, bronchitis, that seems to be going through the masses, because there were
it's clearing out the heart wall.
The heart wall of humans. So
clearing out the lungs.
This is going on.
Which is a big thing going right now. Okay. But what happens is what we don't understand is how the body correlates to full consciousness. But this is going to continue to increase for everybody until their bodies are clean and clear. Well, what does that tell you? There's a lot that has to occur to bring the body into full consciousness. Our body was asleep, and we did not know that. That's what all the physical pain is. That's what the emotions are coming up for people right now, is all that stuff was suppressed and in the way. Well, there is a processing that has to occur to process all those emotions out, to process all of these things out of the body, to clear them from the body, so that the body can walk in not just a higher dimension, a bazillion higher dimensions.
Yes.
Infinite dimensions and timelines that are amazing and magical, and this is our life, okay? Realities that each one of us have created from a place of unity, consciousness, love. Yes. That when we walk in the world, this is our experience. My realities are freaking off the charts amazing. Okay? You want to know the funny part? The hardest part of it is humans. Yes. And their limits. And their excuses and their programs and all the things that they are unaware of because they manipulate, they impose, they don't share. There are all of these things that humans exist from separation that in our world is not acceptable, period. And so transitioning from an unconscious reality, we actually all have to choose and decide, and we're the ones that basically transmit our reality out. We're the ones that align our own reality. There used to be a lot of sitting around waiting for your realities to align, sitting around waiting. There is no sitting around and waiting here anymore. We don't sit around and wait for anything. We get up every day in service, looking at the entire bigger picture and the roles that we came here to do on a soul level, and we do whatever it takes to make them happen. And when people show up, we check and see, are they aligned? Can they really work together? Can they really share? And what's funny is in the old days, and I am going to say in the old days, because we have cleared all of this stuff, which is really cool, but each one of us has to look and see, what are your limits? Where do you not show up? Where do you not support? Where do you not come through? Because this is going to be your limit. And this is what's going to close doors for people now. Huge.
Okay, it is absolutely huge, and that is what we are experiencing, and your insight really helps with this. Okay, well, I know there's many who, when we look at this third paradigm, third dimension, 3D old Earth matrix dissolving, there's many that want to really step it up and move it up in big, huge new ways. And one of the things that you say is if there's any nervousness about it or fear, that we can turn that into excitement.
Yeah.
How do we do that? How do we
shift?
Recognize
that the fear is a belief that was stuck in your body and it's just trying to leave.
Okay.
I mean, technically that's all fear is an energy just released in your body. Now I have to say this 4 different ways or a billion different ways to cover it, and I'm going to do it really fast. Fear is your light body just activated and your cells started moving and it's bumping into the fear in your body trying to clear it. But on a human level, we don't understand that, and so we actually believe the feeling as a reality.
And do nothing and get stuck.
Or try to suppress it or hide from it or fear it. Humans fear the fear. And so basically when I feel fear, I'm like, oh, good, there was some fear. Old Matrix, let's clear this universe. And it's like, clear it out. Bring it up. Get it out of my body. I don't want it anymore. And I will do whatever it takes to get it out of my body. Used to be I would just go lay my body on the earth. And the earth will pull it and balance your body out really fast. In the beginning, I would just go hug a tree until it all went, and breathe and breathe and breathe and breathe. Because what happens is your light body is activating. It's trying to vibrate you into a different dimension, but you have too much fear in the way. Fear is a 3D program that creates the reality because you believe it. I don't believe the fear. And so, okay, so I had, and I'm not going to go into the details of it, but basically, this is all about deep, heavy-duty matrix programming. And so I had some deep, heavy-duty matrix programming come up for me that if I would have believed it would have created a reality. So the moment I saw it, I'm like, let's go deep into this. Let's go break this whole thing down. Well, it was deep. It took me months. Every day it came up. Break it down. It's not real. Break it down. Not real. Break it down. Clear this from my body. I had to be relentless. Break this stuff down. And then shift my vibration and then look into the higher timeline and see the timeline that I knew existed and make that one my new reality in order to anchor in. And the hilarious part of it is when the reality actually rolled around, I had broken it down so much that it was a freaking breeze. None of the fear stuff occurred, and it couldn't have been easier and more laughable and hilarious and fun if I had tried. It was awesome. But if when the fear came up, I believed it, then that would have been my reality. But fear is not my reality. Fear is a matrix program that we hold in our body. And if we believe it, it then plays out in our world. So I want to say this so everybody understands on a whole new level, is that each one of us, our current physical reality is reflecting back to us what's in our physical body. And so if we want a different reality, we have to go inside and break that program down. Give it a new program. Recode it, reprogram it, open up to your higher self. Get connected and allow the programming to leave the body, assist the program with leaving, and create a whole new reality and focus on that one. And then what I will do is I will focus on the highest timeline, but I won't affix to it, and I will completely let go and trust. And just know. And your trust and your knowing inside has to be stronger than your fear is. That's the key. My trust and my knowing is so strong that no fear will become a reality. I will break it down every time. I won't believe it, and I won't allow it. But this is key. Our human ego is our separation. So if you believe your ego programming, you're existing in separation within yourself. Therefore, your physical reality is playing that separation back to you. When I feel fear, I'm like, cool. some old programming leaving the body. Okay, universe, let's clear this stuff out. And I basically just start talking to myself because I am the universe, okay? And I want to say this, it's really important. One, own it. I am the universe. I don't talk about the universe or expect that an outside universe is going to do anything. This is us. I function from a we consciousness connected with every we collective that there is. So when I speak in we, unless I'm talking about my own personal physical experience. It's really, really, really important to own everything and let everything that doesn't serve your highest purposes here go. Let it go. Move on. Because our ego is the one that keeps it going. And recreating and recreating and recreating. Most humans have no clue that every moment is a whole new reality. Every nanosecond is. And that the moment when we're in proximity and we're engaging and we're having a reality and we're having an experience, that's our current reality. Well, the moment we go apart, all those realities collapse. Well, humans will keep carrying them on. For us, they're over. The moment you walk out of my space, there's no more reality. The only reason we ever come back together is because we have a huge beneficial purpose that fulfills a higher timeline. Otherwise, there's no reason to ever come back together again. Does that make sense, Lynn?
Yes.
So in my world, every nanosecond, every reality has collapsed. That's how I live my life. There are no realities unless I create them. And my physical reality is the one that I have commanded, that I have created, that I have brought here and anchored in, and materializes in my physical reality in response to the vibrations I hold. That's what embodiment is. I was going to say something that's really important too right there. I'll remember it in a minute. It's really important for each person, each one of us, to understand that everything that occurs, it is showing us what's inside of us. And that each moment will show us that we're coming from a place of unity, love, and full consciousness, or we're coming from a place of separation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it flips after a while, because what will start to happen is in the beginning, you just have to learn how to be love again, which means you got to learn to let everything go, and you got to be able to just learn to be. Well, then everybody gets elevated beyond that one, and you have to start standing in your power, and you are responsible for aligning all realities and keeping them aligned all of the time. So if something gets out of alignment, it's up to you. Well, humans don't understand, our human aspect, whatever you want to use, doesn't understand that other people are physical matter in form. They are energy in form. They represent an energy you hold. They represent a vibration you're transmitting out. And so everybody in your life represents an aspect of you. Well, if you don't like the reality you're in, and it goes to physical matter things too, then you have to learn to tune your vibration to a different frequency, you have to learn to tune vibrationally. Well, humans don't know how to tune. They don't observe the energy of things. They don't observe the vibrational frequency of things. They don't observe. We observe 24 hours a day, everything. And this is the cool part. When you go full-blown quantum, you observe reality, and your consciousness then dictates that reality. You form physical matter. You have a choice. And if you don't like what's in your reality, one, it's your job to bring it into love and unity consciousness. And if, let's say, you created a really strong reality from separation that you're experiencing, and that person represents an old consciousness of you, then you might have to let it go off somewhere else and refocus your energy and allow somebody else to come in at a higher vibration. Because you only have so much room in your space your field of consciousness, and it's important what you allow in your field. Make sense, Loren?
Absolutely. That brings up that next question about, and this is a common one, people in our lives, people we love.
Right.
If they're not in the same consciousness, we still want them to be in our lives. Maybe in some instances we don't.
Why? Hold on. I'm going to stop you right now, Loren, because one thing about this is the higher we go, the more abrupt we get with let's call it out.
Okay.
Why do you need them to be in your life? Look at the need. It's a lack. The reason I say this is because if you focus on being happy, okay, you focus on happiness, your question is, does this make you happy? Does this support you? Is this fully aligned on a soul level? And if it's not, the question is, why do you keep trying to keep it in your world?
All right.
That's all human ego playing out the lack games. If I'm going to be alone, I'm not going to have enough, I need these people in my reality, all of that goes. You're going to go through a bazillion people. They're going to come in your life and out of your life because now everything is vibrational. If there is a vibrational mismatch going on, you will not be able to coexist in the same frequency bandwidth. The whole ball game changed when we moved into physical body ascension and came through the 2012 gateway of collapsing all time into this now. All of your existences, every time, every dimension, they all exist simultaneously. Every reality exists simultaneously. But if you're allowing, I'm going to use the word lower. I try not to use lower, higher, but I have to explain a vibrational frequency sometimes, so you have to. But humans love to play the judgment game, okay? But for the sake of understanding, if you are constantly allowing a lower vibration in your field of consciousness, one, then your physical body can't leave that dimensional timeline. Two, you're living in fear, lack, or need. Because in our new realities, everything is supporting your highest timeline, your highest you, your highest everything. That is not your ascended aspect of you acting in that moment. That's your unconscious you. I don't need to fill my life with unconscious people. That's miserable. Okay, let's face it. When you actually start to pay attention to consciousness and unconsciousness, when you actually start to pay attention to what supports you and what you keep allowing and the stories you tell yourself and try to convince yourself of, this is all human ego. Human ego loves to live in safe, fear, and lack, which includes a lot of judgment and blame and victim mentality. We're not meant to live there anymore. That's over, done with. But each human still holds it in their physical body template, and it's got to be cleared. Well, you cannot clear the old by maintaining the old unconsciousness still. Your old unconscious states are what have to shift and change. Now, the cool part is if you can come into consciousness and look around you and see the people in your life, and you can bring that into consciousness too, awesome. The question is how conscious are you? They are representing either a previously unconscious version of you or your higher self, which technically they're both higher selves, because even your lowest aspect of you is still a higher self that most people don't understand, because it's showing you what's inside of you. It's showing where you'll compromise. It's showing where you'll take less. It's showing where you still have lack, and technically that is what your higher self will also do. When you love and respect you. You will no longer tolerate or accept less, because that means that you are no longer willing to accept less, and you're finally going to love and respect you. None of us knew for a long time that living without meant we were not being loving and respectful to ourselves. So many, I still watch it now, the program of unworthiness and living without and living on less, and I went through it, believe me. I had to break my own abundance karma, a ridiculous amount of it. And then once you come through that and you look around, you see all of the lack going on in every person that doesn't have a clue that they're living in lack still and judging everybody else.
Yeah.
Because they're making it about a thing. They're making it about money. They're making it about things instead of looking at what, let's take money for a moment. If you take money, if you are utilizing money to make a difference, fully aligned with consciousness, then it will never be about money. And money won't matter, and you'll actually never lack money.
The key is not doing it for the money. It's for the higher, in a higher consciousness. That's a question coming in from some listeners today. You know, struggling with money, how we can really get out of a timeline loop.
It's a whole new value system.
It's a new value system.
It's a whole new value system. When you value your soul, when you value you, when you value your breath, when you value what you do, not entitlement value, not expectation value. I mean, when you truly love and respect yourself, you'll stop accepting less. And this is key. If you're judging somebody else, how do I say this? Okay, so when I started doing a lot of this, I got so much judgment from other people for charging money for this, charging money for that. Well, I tried the donation. I tried the let's let people pay on their own accord. I tried all of that. I even stopped charging for everything for a few years and did everything for free. What I found was the immense amount of lack in people. And it was a lack of respect and honor and integrity. And they didn't value themselves, therefore they couldn't value me. Well, when I started to realize that the work I was doing was changing lives, that was worth so much more than anything we could put a dollar on. When I started realizing, then my universe was like, okay, Lacey, you can't sit and live on nothing anymore. You have huge things you have to do. You're going to need money. But so many people get caught up in the game. Instead of really, and what I did, and this was key, I dedicated my life to full service to humanity and told my universe, which is me, bring forth everything I need to support me. Wide open. Release all my limits. And on a daily basis, I would say, release the limits. Release the limits because, and this is key, is that money is a limit for a while to teach us how to stay on path, to teach us or get us on path. Until we've learned the purpose of money, we don't get money. And on top of that, this is a complete alchemical or alchemy thing. So basically, at first, we get given opportunity and information, and we have to learn how to alchemize everything so that money is a result instead of something we seek.
Yes.
Now, I tell every person, get your butt up and get in service. Get your butt up and start making a difference. Open up and tell your universe, which is you, bring me everything I need, and dedicate yourself fully. Get yourself out there. You got to step into the fears. And if each person, if you look at what each person is doing, they're sitting in fear, they're sitting in judgment, they're sitting in lack. They've got backwards mentalities of what money is. Instead of understanding money is a gift, money is a bonus. Money is to support what we're here to be and do. And if we use everything fully in alignment, you will never lack for anything ever again. Not only will you not lack, you'll be so freaking abundant. And that's how it works. But most people are not dedicated enough. They're not willing to dedicate their life to their own soul, which is in their body. Something else always comes first. They always get distracted or they give up, and that's called human ego. This is not a journey for the faint-hearted. We got to get up every day, and we work. The difference is how we work is very different. It's awesome. It's fun. I have some, you've been to my house, Loren, right? People walk in and somebody came in and they're like, oh my God, this is just a playland. The whole house. It's just, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm in the middle of nature and everything. And the thing, it makes it easy to work because it's awesome. So I can get up every day. I cut out distractions. I cut out every person that isn't willing to support or be a part or do their part. Everybody here is now partners. We just got leveled up huge. Most people, I haven't even shared any of this stuff. But basically, it's no longer what's in it for you, which is what humans do. It's what do you have to offer. Step up. Because now everybody moved out of the old twin stuff that we were playing with. Everybody's a twin. We all moved into partnerships. We all have to bring things together and contribute. We all have to share on a whole new level. Business partnerships, personal partnerships, everything is included now. So which means that when I bring something to the table and you bring something to the table and the next person, everybody's got to be contributing to the whole on a much bigger scale now. We just got stepped up big time. We become the philanthropists. We become the benefactors. We become the ones. When we're moving into, I mean, we just went all out. And
talk a little bit about that, please do, because you spoke earlier that you personally went through a template rewrite.
Oh, yeah.
But we all have, all going through this template rewrite, and so we've leveled up.
We've leveled up huge. In a whole new way. And so the thing about it is the more you dedicate of yourself to your highest everything, okay? But I don't mean sitting around waiting for things to happen to you. I mean getting up every day, and the word's proactive. Get up. What can you do? Get up. How can you make a difference? Get up. And the thing about it is in the beginning, we all think we don't have anything. Well, all you need is an open heart and to dedicate your energy and actually care enough to make a difference. You can go out and smile at people all day long in the beginning, and that's a difference. You can go walk around and just carry light and flood light to every person. That's making a difference. Okay? It's not a lot of work in the beginning, but then it will be, because when you hit divine masculine and God conscious, then you become fully responsible for everything. You have to step your game up. You have to be the contributor. You have to be the one in there making a difference. You have, because remember, vibrational match equals vibrational match. You only receive what you're already doing. That's a big one. So when you step into those roles, you immediately activate that timeline to start to materialize for you. That's the part that the most humans miss, is that if you want it to occur, you have to be it. This is living a quantum existence in every moment, in every breath. The new template rewrite that I just went through is many things, but I'll minimize it to a couple things. Okay, I wasn't really sure. I knew it was a big deal. What I've been going through, Loren, is I hit avatar consciousness a couple years ago, and so I've spent the last couple years with life becoming a whole lot easier, but holding that avatar consciousness, because once you hit a certain state of consciousness, you have to hold it so your DNA can rewrite itself. Your DNA is relative to your consciousness, not the other way around.
Ah, okay.
So you know me. I hold the highest state of everything 24/7. I do not compromise in any way. The thing about it is this is what gatekeepers and grid keepers do, is we hold the highest state of consciousness all of the time, because our DNA will rewrite itself then according to those codes that have activated in our fields and inside of our body, because your body and your field have to align to the same frequency for the reality to come in. The 2222 code that activated, I wasn't quite sure what it was until today, and received a little bit more of it. But because these encodements are so huge, they come through in pieces and parts. So next month I might receive another piece, and then 3 months from now another piece. Last year, every 2 months I brought through from the original codes anchored in 2017. Every couple months I would bring through the next part of that template process, and it took me a whole year to anchor that entire grid system in. This one, when I basically, on January 1st, I woke up and it was, you know, I was watching the 2222, which I had never heard of before, and I'm laying there, and it's like, just stay in bed, don't get up, you're going to be integrating. Like, okay, well, that's when my body got hit and I got knocked for a loop. And it's like, oh, my God, okay, this is a biggie. Well, I didn't know I was going through a complete template rewrite because you don't know till you're going through it. Well, I'm like, oh, I'll be back in a day. I even texted my family, like, oh, you know me, I'll bounce back. Oh, no. A week later, I'm still no computer, no work, still up, laid up in the bed. It's like, wow, this is a biggie. Well, then I got up this morning. And several days ago, I'm like, okay, what is this code? And basically, it was for where I am in my journey. The words were, this is a personal code. I'm like, oh, that's different. That they are unique and personal codes when we hit this part of our own journey. That the 2222 code is a source code. And basically, when I woke up this morning, I was going through, I wrote 3 activations this morning, just taking showers and writing and stuff, like all this information coming through. But this one was the divine, basically pure source, the divine breath of pure creation. And that my entire template rewrite had been recoding. All of last year was clearing out matrix programming in the body and going from anything left linear to full-blown nonlinear. So y'all thought I was nonlinear before. But the cool part is that this one is just pure creation. There is zero tolerance now in my world for anything that is not full-blown, intentional, highest consciousness creation. There's no room for it anymore. We are to come together in all new ways, and every breath is creation. There's no more wasting breath on old. There's no wasting breath because it's the breath of life. And my template rewrite, I went through, actually I saw you about that time too, in 2015, May and June, which was intense, was the restoration back to the original template, which is a complete rewrite too. That one was completely different in how it played out, but basically your body is completely depleted of all energy, and then it's restored with all new energy and new light code. This one just took on this form. Because it's all about, it's in the heart and the lungs. But this morning, right before we started, I got hit right in the base of my spine, and it fully anchored in, which was really cool. And it was like, okay, template reset, done. And so you actually know when these things are occurring. But basically, everybody has been, that's been doing this has been moved up, if you will, a nodule, or a billion nodules, into what we're intentionally creating and anchoring in the physical here. How we're coming together. We brought through new prosperity codes for collectives last year. Well, those codes are meant for those who are working in unity. So which means that they're activated when we work in unity. Mm. And so unity consciousness replaces your old realities completely. but each one of us are responsible for where we're coming from. There are no more hidden agendas, and let me tell you, if there's a hidden agenda, it's loud, it's blatant, and it'll slap you in the face, and we will shut it down and say, no, thank you. Have a nice day.
I've actually witnessed a little shift just in the last week of that being expressed.
There are no more manipulation energies, narcissism energies of the old, and we're going to see this increase for a lot of people because I see it. It's huge because those are control and manipulation energies of the old. Well, the higher we go, if you will, in vibrational frequency, the more visible it becomes. Because the human ego will do anything it can to hang on and maintain control. Well, for me, the moment I see passive-aggressive manipulation narcissism, it's like, nope, have a nice day. Done.
Well, we can see that in our 3D old Matrix world.
You will, because it's
crashing.
ego playing out.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no victims here. But look at it this way. The person on the other end of the totem pole is the one playing the disempowerment game. You will always have polarity in a duality reality. There is no polarity in a unity reality.
Well, I love that unity consciousness changes the old reality.
Everything. And it clears your karma.
And it clears karma. And new things are, you know, as that journalist in me, I look at the world and see things, stories that appear of people taking action. And that's really what all of us are here to do as well. And what a role, what a tremendous responsibility, really, to show others as well, like what you do, to step out on this incredible limb, so to speak, and really speak your truth from how you know it, going through this process yourself. And that's why we all listen to you. But you'll find it's no longer a limb anymore. It's no longer a limb. I said you'll find it's no longer a limb anymore. It used to be, for the human ego, it was a limb, because you thought you were putting yourself out there for judgment and all this kind of stuff. But once you step into that way shower role, and that's what that is, you being the example, you being the leader, you being, you're going to show everybody what higher consciousness is, but that means you have to live your life that way. Yeah.
So it's no longer going out on a limb. This is how quantum existence is. This is how new Earth is. You have to choose which Earth you want to live on. But I'm not going out on a limb when I get up each day and I do this. I love the mess out of this. Right?
You are creating a great platform for a lot of other way showers and light workers. But what an incredible responsibility. It is exciting. And yeah, I mean. But
you know what? Each one of us are that responsible.
And so, you know, like when you go through a physical experience where you know it's time to get still, get quiet, nurture yourself, you know, it's like we step up this way with solutions when we look around and see. And so, again, this goes back in a circle to what we were talking about what we see out there is just showing us what's still inside to be cleared. So. Well,
and I'm going to say something real quick because I remembered what it was I was going to say a little while ago, so I'm going to write that down. But,
okay, good.
Hold on. Let me write that down. Okay. What you just said, Loren, repeat that last part for me because there's something important of what you just said there.
Oh my gosh, can I remember?
I don't know.
It has to do with it's going back around to what we see in our reality is showing us what we're projecting.
I want to play with you for a minute. All right, this is really important. So number one of understanding, you are on a multidimensional Earth now. That's the title of one of my books coming up too. Okay.
We are totally multidimensional.
Every person, but when you look out into the world, Loren, Do you look out into the world and observe it as to which dimension it is and realize it's not your reality?
You know, yes. There are instances that I could get riled up in.
Okay, then that's yours. That's why you're seeing it.
Okay, and that's a fine line between being responsible and just turning a blind eye to it.
You don't turn a blind eye. You ask yourself the question, why are you seeing this? What's going on with you? What is the judgment? What's the belief? You dive into it head first and with everything you got. That's the thing about it, is you're not turning a blind eye. That's what humans do. They ignore it and pretend. When you go deep into your own programming and you grab it, sorry, I'm going to say it because we do grab it by the balls. Because that's your reality. Now here's the tricky part. What are you going to do about it?
What do you do about it? Send it unconditional love? No, you've got to get that out of your body.
Get it out of your body. Let go of the judgment. Realize it is, now this is key, it is a physical reality for those living in those timelines. If you spend every moment on creating all new realities, it's not going to be your reality anymore. Okay. But humans don't focus their energy on what they're creating. They sit around pointing the finger at that out there, not realizing they're stuck in a timeline loop. Multidimensional Earth means that whatever you see, the reality changes when you observe it. Now, if you're unconscious, you don't have that capability. It's your reality. But if you observe it and see a billion different things, you start dissecting reality. You start decoding the matrix, and you realize, wow, now this is key. Look at all those people in that timeline. How can I make a difference? Because what humans don't understand is we're not all in the same timeline. When I look at that out there, that's not my timeline. That's a billion collectives running around in their timeline. My timeline's over here, amazing, and I'm making a difference every day. And the people I interact with and the things I do, they're freaking amazing. They are not lacking in one way. But the difference is what I see doesn't dictate my reality. I dictate reality through my own consciousness. Humans sit around watching reality on a big screen TV. Okay, the internet is a big screen TV. It plays you exactly what you hold. You want to know what's funny? When I bring it up, it's like really cool, kind stuff and people and really loving stuff, because things will change according to the dimension you live in. Whatever dimension your body is anchored in, if you want a different reality, you've got to get the vibration of your body up. Your body has to be happy. How many people do you know that their body's not happy?
Yeah.
Your body dictates the dimension.
Okay.
Okay? So I'm going to go back to the retreat that we did with the Hong Kong group that came, which was amazing. But the first 2 days, we spent feeding them to get them happy, feeding ridiculous amount of food, feeding. I'm like, oh, my God, they're looking at me. And I'm like, this is, I mean, off the charts, getting them happy, playing with Endoras. But the thing about it was once I got them happy, they relaxed. They didn't want to eat anymore. Well, not really. Some of them did. But the thing about it was that their whole, everything changed. Their body was so low vibrationally, they couldn't elevate their consciousness. They had to be happy. So we spent 2 days getting them happy. And then the work began. Then we could start breaking down programs. Then we got to start having some more fun. It was an amazing experience, but their body was was they were living their old lifestyles. They were living according to old beliefs. They were living with no clue, very linear realities from their head. Not really, but I have to make a point. Beautiful, beautiful. Their hearts opened, their souls came through. Did we go through some heavy-duty stuff, working through some stuff? Yes, we did, because heavy-duty stuff is going to come up when you start opening your heart. That's how this works. It's just the difference is you don't judge it, and you get excited about clearing it and letting it go. It was in the body, stuck. All right, now I'm going to be quiet, Lauren. The one thing I want to say that I wrote down a minute ago is that one thing that changed everything for me was years ago when I started saying, instead of sitting around and waiting and wondering and wishing and all that kind of stuff that humans do, one day I woke up and said, okay, universe, I'm ready. Show me what to do, and I'll do it. Bring me everything that I need to support me, and I will get up every day. Now, there are days I can't get up. That's okay. I don't judge myself. I'll go get in the bed because I'm anchoring code. My body's clearing something. There are a lot of times I want to be alone. I don't want to be around people because that's when I do my greatest observation and work. So that when I do have exchanges with people, they can be magical and amazing. But I actually keep my exchanges short now. I don't do really long exchanges with people anymore because we can't all fit in the same vibrational frequency for very long unless there's a specific purpose. So like when we did the retreat, it was a week of amazing. But the moment that it was over, then my body needed to shift and clear and retune. And so your light body will carry you through anything it needs to. But then the whole reality will collapse and shift you into a completely different one. Does this make sense?
Yes.
But key for me years ago was, okay, universe, I'm ready. And to stay wide open in every moment and ask for direction until I understood how everything went. Until I understood and could gain the ability to observe everything while I was having an actual experience. Because at first we have to just sit and observe. Then we learn to observe and have an experience, and then we're observing ourselves, and then you're observing everybody else. But this is a part of the process. Is the more human emotions you have, the more corrupted your body is, if you will. Which means that you can't process light data and intelligence and information through you easily. And you can't shift dimensionally easily because you've got to process all those emotions and beliefs and get them out. They're in the way. And so once you wake up and you've cleared all of that stuff, then everything's a whole lot easier, but you are going to need more downtime. Your body is going to demand that it be given what it needs first, and then your life revolves differently, if you will. But everything will become easier, but you are going to work. You're going to work in service, but it's going to be something that you love and enjoy. It's not always perfect. Well, it is always perfect, but it's not always fun. And it is always going to challenge your human and push your human to its limits because it is supposed to, until all that human ego stuff is gone. And then the next day, it's going to start again. And the next day, it's going to start again. This is a never-ending process of moving into higher dimensional frequencies and leaving all of the old ones behind. You do leave them behind. The cool part is your realities are replaced with things that you love. And I want to say this because it's really important, is as humans, we sit around fearing the unknown and what's coming. You're fearing awesome, okay?
No, don't fear awesome. Yes,
really?
We get that, though.
You want to know why? You can't control it, is the difference. You don't get to control this. The cool part is if you stay fully in alignment, you don't need to. It's a very different way of existing. It means being totally committed to a vibrational existence that is aligned on a soul level instead of a human ego one. And it means that you're going to fulfill your highest purposes here, and you're going to have a blast, but you're also going to be challenged to the extreme, like you've never been challenged before. Now, the cool part is the higher state of consciousness you function at, the more you just challenge yourself, and then you don't need challenges anymore. So for me, I challenge myself in every moment to get up and do what needs to be done. I challenge myself to break through those limits. I challenge myself, and I don't need to be challenged or broken down anymore. Does that make sense?
Well, hallelujah.
Yeah.
I know there's many that say, I don't want to be challenged anymore or broken down.
Well, they're on the wrong Earth ship.
We chose this. Mm-hmm. It is our choosing to let go of human ego. We chose that. We chose that role.
But the thing about it is you have to dissolve the entire ego back into love within yourself and stop fighting it or ignoring it. You recognize your ego as your little inner child that's lacking love or validation or whatever the case, and you give it to yourself. You stop seeking it from everybody else outside of you, and you stop allowing yourself to be a 2-year-old little child. You got to grow up. So what this is observing every aspect of yourself and fine-tuning each one to a higher level of existence from a place of love. And not playing the old ego games anymore, except as your higher self aspect, as your universe. You're going to see your ego, and you're going to tell it, no, no more. Nope, not going to happen. And for a while, I would just tell my ego, before I got to that place, what I would tell my ego, I don't need your protection anymore. I got this. Because I didn't believe I did. Now, I want to say this because it's really important, because a lot of people don't understand, is that not one part of this is about your higher self or your universe isn't always there to take care of you and look out for you, okay? That everything isn't always available to you. Every bit of this is about how human each still is and your limits and what you're not open to. Every bit of this is your human isn't ready. Your human doesn't want to do. Your human, this is your human programming you're breaking down, which is the matrix, old matrix. And understanding that our human is the one that can't be trusted. So it's recognizing yourself and that you're the one that can be trusted to always come from that highest place of love and integrity and honor and respect and kindness and reciprocate and contribute and offer and share. Those things are going to be your challenges. Purity, honor, respect, sharing. Every time it comes to money, the human will separate off and think about themselves. Every time it comes to certain things, the human will separate it off and think about itself. All that's got to be overcome. So technically, every bit of this is about how human you still are, how much ego you still allow to run your show. And the moment we each realize, I need to observe my ego and stop fighting it or letting it have control, and learn to open my heart and listen to that first, no matter what the physical world says, that's your old state of unconsciousness until you've completely replaced your entire and rebuilt your whole reality. Basically from scratch, basically in alignment with unity, love, consciousness, and then that's what your whole reality reflects back. And I'll be quiet.
Those are our marching orders. Beautiful. Really being proactive in our consciousness and being in the energy and the consciousness of unity and love, we can witness how in our own lives this shift is happening. So, Lisa, thank you for this. We are just about out of time, but I want to give you a moment to wrap up. It really is very interesting. So, as we are here at the precipice of this new year, share with us any insights coming down the pike.
Well, okay. We are going higher and higher and higher vibrationally, always. It's always going to increase, which means every increase collapses time.
Okay.
Every timeline collapse pushes the human aspect. But for us, it's a unification of higher timelines all converging in the same space so that everything we've been waiting for is finally coming. It's a reversal. All right? So it's really important to understand that if you can embrace this and actually start implementing, this is the application and the implementation of your highest state of consciousness into your physical reality and how you live your life, which is the most important thing and the only reason you're here, technically, on this earth, with the other billion reasons, okay? But for humans, time will continue to speed up and go faster and faster and faster, and they'll have less time. For us, we don't exist in time. We exist from zero-point field within a space where nothing's linear, it's all vibrational, which means that all we do is observe the vibration and we shift the vibration, which means we shift the reality ourselves. Every person on earth is moving from a linear, fixed, everything reality to a non-linear quantum one, which means that you're moving out of your human head ability to control anything and moving to transitioning into realities where your heart leads, but then you move into higher mind consciousness, which is where you have to observe, and then you have to start choosing and doing, and that's where everybody is. Well, I'll say everybody, but everybody's in different places, okay? One, realize that everything you see is multidimensional. Every experience is multidimensional. Everything. So you want to see it from a multitude of ways. If you're only looking at anything from one way, then you're the one that's in a linear old dimension. All the linear constructs are going to collapse, but what they do is and these are on the cellular level in your body. The construct of every reality is in your cells of your body. And so that cellular structure has to break down. Well, the speed at which this occurs depends on how much light we hold and how much our body has been able to evolve from carbon-based to crystalline, or light body activates first. Then you go to light body crystalline, light plasma light body crystalline, and then eventually etheric, okay? And so there are phases and processes where everything is different in each one. Everybody is always in each one of these a little bit. It's more which one is your dominant one that you live in and how much you've allowed and evolved your entire existence here. So basically, everything will get really easy when your head stops running the show. When you connect on your deepest level, deep, deep, deep inside, and allow yourself to expand your consciousness beyond your body, beyond the physical, and learn to, in whatever capacity it is, basically, if you just listen and let go, your higher self, your universe will emerge from within you and start teaching you. But basically, it's being so open that you're ready and you do want to know, because on a human level, we don't want to know, we don't want to be told what to do, and that's what creates all the suffering and the rough stuff. So if you embrace, I do want to know. Okay, I'm listening. But it's 24 hours a day. It's 24/7. Open, listening, honoring, doing what you're shown. Because the human will get stuck at the doing part. It'll go, oh, I don't want that. My life's going to change. Oh, I don't want to stand up for myself. Oh, I don't want to. And all these excuses come in when they don't understand they have to. Because first you're given the option of doing it yourself, and then basically you as a higher self looks at your human and says, she's not going to do it, he's not going to do it, let's help out. And so basically on a human level, you will always usually have a chance. And if you don't take it, then it'll get done for you. Now, technically, it's you doing it to you. It's your higher self. It's your universe. It's you. Because you are your universe. You are your higher self. But in those moments that you will not honor or do what you're shown, you went human. And when you go human, you take away your ability to have a choice. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, on so many levels, and
Cool.
You have helped to dissolve us further from the old 3D matrix and really allow us to expand consciousness really on a great level. Oh, Lisa, again, this is so fascinating. It's always so wonderful to come together with you in this space. And I just want to say on a little technical note here, the website, as we were speaking, is now reverted back to our old website. But we will get that. I know, isn't this interesting? Maybe I need to look at something in my life. What is this that needs to come up to be cleared? So I will do that inner work and talk
we'll look
about
at the metaphor reverted to the old.
Right?
Gotta love it. Quite
Gotta
hilarious.
love it.
But
And
okay, so remember one thing before we go. Your actual physical experience, not things you're watching in the outside world. Your thoughts, your actions, that's your dimension.
Okay. Your thoughts and your actions. So even though we work through this old stuff, don't take it too personally. In a human, don't take anything too personally.
Nothing.
And just know that we cannot get anything wrong. It is all in divine order. So on that note, my dear, I'm going to do another video stream, online healing retreat with you. It's so special when we can come together. And you've also got the quantum jumping timeline special offer.
Well, and what I was going to say was one thing we're taught on this journey is to be patient and slow down and breathe and allow, and if it's not working, sometimes it's not meant to. Let it go. It'll all be okay, okay? So it's really important because the moment you stop and pull away, it'll start to shift and things will start to correct themselves unless you see there's something you're supposed to do. So I'm going to say that really quick. We don't get upset about anything unless something's out of alignment with, like, somebody in our world. The special offers are, I did the quantum timeline jumping because it's very appropriate, and this is not a lay around and dream about things course, okay? This is how it's affecting your physical reality when a timeline collapses and what to do. So this is a doing one. This is an applicable to your life. A lot of quantum timeline jumping we do because you're using your imagination, you're drifting off into other dimensions, you're actually going to sleep. We do a lot of stuff consciously in our sleep, and you're utilizing all of this. But this is an actual how to do this and explaining things, which is huge. I think it's 3.5, almost 4 hours, where I do all my stuff live with groups and record them. And so this one, everything is through my mastery school, so you will have to register separately through there once you purchase from Loren. But this one is where people got to ask questions, and then we answered everything. It is nonlinear. We're all over the place because that's what quantum does. It goes from this to this to this, and then it ties everything together, which is the point. It's bringing the puzzle pieces together, which is what we do. So this was explaining and giving tools for applying and implementing in how to maneuver timeline collapses and unifications when they start to occur. Because when you go through a timeline collapse, everything speeds up. And if you don't understand what's going on, then you basically will get beaten to death in the process, if you will. So it's easier to do these jumps if you are very aware and looking for the signs, and that's what we do in this course, which is really cool. So we did that. And then we did the online healing retreat, which is going to be coming up, where I felt it was really important to do something with people that helps with message clarity. Because I see a lot of people still not having all the tools or applying all the tools that are available to make this easier, to get very clear and easy messages because their ego is still in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is about breaking all that down and basically explaining how to read your own matrix program, which is kind of cool. So we're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you're actually open and ready for the messages, they'll start coming faster and faster and faster. And then what to do about that to create more ease is really important. So we're going to actually talk about all that in the online healing retreat together too.
Beautiful. Okay. Thank you so much for that, Lisa, again.
Thank you, too, for listening and sharing in this space today. We leave you now with music from the universe, literally sacred geometry of music, as musical notes were assigned to mathematical equations. The result is this beautiful music, available at acoustichealth.com.